Namaste, angels. This is going to be the weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, which was yesterday, actually, May 20th through Saturday to come, May 26th. So yes, I am late, but it's a weird late because, you know, we all have times where we can feel the constraints. And even further than that, I've had times where I'm actually told by the divine, hold off, or shown, you know, made to feel, okay, hold off, I'm not supposed to do it yet. And there's been times where, you know, we all get to witness why, like I'll finally upload the reading and it'll be posted by YouTube at exactly 11:11 or something like that. And you say, okay, that's one of the reasons why I was meant to wait, you know, clearly. None of that happened yesterday. So, you know, I'm not making this, I just, actually quite to the contrary, it was just like, I wasn't guided to do anything, you know, it was just like whatever. And so I was like, whatever, and I didn't do it. But today, now I'm doing it. Also, quickly, I want to explain, if I realized I needed to do this, I would have done it during before the general reading, but it didn't. So here it is. I wanted to explain the types of readings that I do. So of course, like everybody else who is able to read tarot, I do, you know, private readings for folks. But I also do the weekly general reading. The reason I do it the way that I do is because in some respects it replaces the daily readings with which I started. So back on March 10th of 2016, three angels came to me, three angels that often would come to me prior. I didn't understand the full connection at the time because I've seen angels and things since I was a little girl. I've always been psychic. But they came to me and they told me to start doing this. And at that time I had already been given my name also by the divine, by the angels, told why my name was to be Queenofswords, the Lightworker. My name was trademarked, including the Lightworker, Queenofswords, the trademark before Lightworker was even a thing. Before anybody else was talking about it, nobody even knew what the hell I was talking about when I came out as Queenofswords, the Lightworker. What's a Lightworker? What's that? What does your name mean? So I already knew because the divine had clued me in because I was here. I was put here to do a particular job. And that particular job is to educate the illumined and elect as to what the journey is about, why we're on it, as it relates to the prophecies and fulfilling prophecies. And when I say that, I don't only mean the Bible. You get Christian folks who want to only talk about Revelations 13 or Revelation 7, and this whole thing is about so much more than that. I actually know the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran, which is one of the reasons why I guess I was chosen to do this, or I was taught those things or made to know those things because I was going to be chosen to do this. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but you know, you know, it's one of my gifts that I'm moved to and guided to use toward this end. So not only teach, but I get educated also at the same time, sort of like, you know, the energy of the Hierophant, right? Or the hermit, becoming enlightened, being a teacher, but also learning as we go along. So I was made to do these daily readings and to go over history, and in going over the history of the day in connection to the reading and how it relates to divine beings, again, members of the illumined and or elect. We would also review the numerology in that regard and the celestial system, what was going on in the sky, what was going on with the spiritual energy, with you know, ancient Egypt and Kemet and the Bible and the Torah and the Quran, which the Torah precedes them. So again, it doesn't really make sense. It's just that Christianity as an institution has sort of taken over and dominated the world and done a lot of evil, actually, in that regard. A lot of, you know, harm to a lot of people. But the Torah was first, you know, and the Torah, Bible, and Quran all begin the same way. They just don't end the same way because to Jews and to Muslims, Jesus, you know, isn't God in any form. He's just a prophet, or he is a, I don't want to say just a prophet, you know, and minimize prophets. But he's a prophet. He's not God. And so that's where the differences come in. But they all believe in angels. Muslims believe in angels too. And, you know, all of this is in there as well, in the Torah, in the Quran as well. So in any case, that's how the dailies came about. Sometime last year, probably around March, probably around, you know, my anniversary, or leading up to that, I had a number of people who were like wanting to steal my videos, and I'd always had people that would steal the content essentially, because I record my videos live, and then somebody else will do like a similar reading, or maybe even the exact reading, but not live. Like they'll have their cards laid out and they'll already have the explanations, and people will tell me, oh, I heard like the exact same thing you did, but mine was recorded live, so you saw it happen, and I saw it happen at the same time that you did. So I had that going on all the time, but it had gotten to the point where people were really trying to steal my video. In fact, I had somebody physically downloading the whole video and uploading it as their own. I was among others, but I was named first, number one, even though many of the other channels that were listed, or how the way tarot readers in general were listed, channels larger than mine, because they cater to a different group. I read specifically for a certain group of people. You know, these were traditional tarot readers who read for, you know, the general public and do astrological according to zodiac readings, rather, according to birth sign, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I was listed number one. Why was I enemy number one in the tarot reading community? You know, it's because of this. It was an attack of the dark. So as a result, angels again, divine, guided me and said, okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to have to unfortunately become more formal, which was a shame for me, because again, I was never in this, you know, as to a tarot reader. It was never my plan. I never had dreams of growing up and becoming a tarot reader or an astrologer or anything. In fact, I have another graduation coming up on June 7th. I just got another degree in accounting and a New York State certification in manufacturing management. You know, wasn't my goal. This is what God told me I needed to do. But this wasn't my job. So I used to do free and by donation client readings too, private readings. But all of that had to stop as a result of these attacks, because I was made to become more formal and official. So with that comes, you know, legality and a certain way that things have to be done. So it was a shame, and everybody was hurt. But one of the other things that got lost as a result was that with which I started, the daily readings. I had to cease to do those, because all I was doing was feeding people who were false prophets with information as to what is the true energy of the divine union community. How do we know it's the true energy? Well, my readings always align with anything I say before I even lay any cards. You know, even if I include the celestial system, what's going on in the sky, because again, I'm not an astrologer. I'm not a tarot reader. So I am given the information and receive it specifically as it relates to the divine union community, to divine beings, to light beings, to the illumined, to the elect, people that are on the specific journey, who have been reincarnated with the specific purpose of fulfilling the prophecies. That's for whom I read primarily. Is everyone else welcome to watch and such? Sure. But the reason I do my readings a certain way is because they're geared to a certain group who needs this information. Now, anybody else, you know, I got readings for you too. So the Patreon readings that I do, on Patreon, I provide larger discounts to all my services than I do to people who are not Patreon members. And I, you know, can provide any kind of surprise content and stuff that's just for them. And I do daily readings. like the daily readings that, that they're used to, that they had become accustomed to, that they rely on as true members of the illumined and or elect, and who are trying to, keep up with what they're supposed to be doing on this plane. So it's worth it to them to subscribe, whereas it might not be, or I can't see why it would be to somebody who wasn't of the illumined or elect. And like, why do I need to listen to this stuff all the time? History about, or numbers and numerology. Why do I need this in my life? I get it. You don't. But there are people who do, so they rely on it. Also, the same scriptures and prophecies, warn of false prophets, but they say to support the true ones. And so I have, on my Patreon, just sponsorships when I have members of our community who, for as little as $2 a month, support the channel, sponsor the readings, so that we can continue to provide them for free, without any issue or interruption or anything. So that's that. And then the love reading, while still geared ultimately toward the divine union community and divine beings, whether it's single or partnered, or even married on this plane, still need, because they still go into separation too, because the prophecies have not yet been fulfilled by the illumined and or elect. So even those who are those of us who are married legally on this plane, the 3D, go into separation. One sleeps on the couch, one sleeps in the bed. They live in separate homes completely. They take separate vacations, because it's all divine. It's divine timing for all of us. It doesn't apply differently because you get married in the 3D. The divine doesn't care about the 3D. I mean, so it's for everybody as it relates to love, but I have a specific focus and, community for which I read. And so that's why I just go into the love reading, typically, not today, obviously, but go into the love reading and just get started, because it's for, it's not only for that community, but it's for people who don't, care about what else might be going on, or, what we might need to know and what we need to understand about being divine beings. And the reason I don't use the word, quote unquote, twin flame is because twin flame has become so conflated. First of all, you're not going to find twin flame in any of the scriptures. Again, I know the Bible, Torah, and Quran. You're not going to find twin flame in there. But atop that, or in addition to that, twin flame has become so conflated and such a catch-all and such a anything goes, and anybody from anywhere can show up at any time and claim themselves, a prophet or somebody who channels, whomever and whatever kind of entity, and, tell you that this is the energy and this is what's going on. And it's not true. It doesn't align with the prophecies because they don't know the prophecies. They don't know them. I know them. So that's my focus. But people who don't care about that can still, check out the love reading. And that's why I go straight into love on that reading. But my other ones, I'm going to continue to focus. So anybody that's confused, why is she doing this talking and whatever, I'm going to continue to do that. That's the way my readings are because of for whom they are. And if you choose instead to watch somebody else who is not focused on the divine union community or the light being community, I understand. And, you're free to go. I thank you for, the time that you spent with me anyway, and, respect you on your continued journey too. All right, that said, let's do this. Because I had no intention of talking. I apologize. I'm beginning with the lovers, an opening message of the lovers after I do these dice. How could I forget the dice? We're starting with sex, which is always nice to see for the love reading. No. And party. Spirit says, forget it. So if you had something that was like weighing on you, 10 of Wands, it was causing a burden, you just felt overwhelmed by it, forget it, drop it. Also weaken away. And by shoes. Some of us will continue to get those shoes, those walking shoes. Also, I was made to see before I shipped them up, and I didn't mention 29. So spiritual partnership could also be weighing in here pretty heavily. And I think it is based on the card. So again, I'm starting with the Lovers. I'm going to read this card from my Journey of Love Oracle from the book. Yes, it's love. It derives you forward and pulls you back to your heart. It makes the mind mad with misunderstanding and breaks it open into enlightened compassion. It is love. Your yearning heart shall have it. Your destiny is to be the lover of the beloved. This oracle brings you a message of love, love, love. It is finding you now. Be open to it in all its forms. Be the god and goddess of love and paint the town red. Play in passionate embrace with life as your lover and prepare to receive even more than what you believe you are capable of handing. Love is a magic word that holds the universe together. It is both an emotion and something ephemeral that lives like a fire's glow or the pink light on the clouds after the sun has set. All right, let's get into these other cards. Actually, I'm moved to look at the top card. It's Yin Yang Lover. So also I began with the Lovers and now Yin Yang Lover. This card is about not only love, but this is the love reading. So yeah, specific to love. It's about even if we're not able to see that things are happening, like in the background, to trust that they are. Like though that we're getting closer and closer all the time to what it is we desire, or whom in this case, I guess. Let's start with these. I'm beginning with young male. And I think age differences may come up a lot this week. And opening to Ice King. Definitely represents the winter or air or swords signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Actually, it's Gemini season. The sun entered Gemini yesterday on the 20th, the first day for which this reading was to be. And today is the first official day of the sign of Gemini, the sun sign Gemini. So definitely represents Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, but also Leo and fellow fire sign Aries for me, because this guy is very emperor-like and, Mars. And for that reason, also Scorpio. Ice King and Triangle. Some of us could be confronted with this, a need to make a choice. Somebody will walk away. There go the shoes, right? The walking shoes. Someone will remain, maybe, or maybe both will walk away. Different scenarios, different people. Also opening to communication. Also connected to air signs, and particularly the sign of Gemini, the quote-unquote great communicator of the zodiac. Triangle back. And spiritual growth. Triangle. One more. Past love. Also leading to a broken heart. Potentially this can be what the party of three is about. An ex and your current, whom do I choose? That sort of thing can be coming up. Overall energy for me is, for us this week, is Wallflower, which also represents for me the signs of Gemini, Scorpio, which I just mentioned with that Ice King card, and additionally Capricorn. And the reason that it does is because those three signs are those who would be invited to a party, who may even choose on their own to go to a club, a party, whatever. And then perhaps, although they have all the ability to be the life of that party, choose to sort of play the wall and fall back. And it relates to life in that very, very much like the song, which it appears to illustrate, at least to me, If you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. It's about not missing an opportunity just because you are introverted or withdrawn, you know, to engage in life, to live it while we can. Divine couple, recent past, near future, masculine's higher self, blocks to the union. What the feminine can do, the masculine can do, further advice from the universe, and the outcome. Divine couple, children. This comes across very Empress-like, which Empress is major arcana card number 3, in that it's about new beginnings and our creations, right? Things that we bring to life. That's going to be a major focus. And also, this is a party of 3. Anytime you see a 3, can represent a party of 3 as well. Not necessarily a love triangle, but that's a possibility. And it would be our second 3 thus far, since we just saw a triangle as well. The recent past, friendship. Maybe friendships that have come back together. Some of us seeing people, bumping into people that we haven't, you know, been involved with in some time, or, you know, reconnecting with people in other ways because of the retrogrades. We currently have 3 planets in retrograde. Jupiter is retrograde in Scorpio. Jupiter, which has 2 major transits this week, by the way, too. Jupiter trine Neptune and Jupiter sesquiquadrate Chiron. And I talk about those in detail during the general reading for anybody who wants more information as to what that means. They were both good, though. I'll just put it that way. Saturn is also retrograde in Capricorn, which it rules. And Pluto, Scorpio's ruler, is also in retrograde in Capricorn. So for those reasons, we could be bumping into people from our past and things, but this is mostly about a relationship with the potential to develop into more. We see this band here. This is reminiscent of a wedding band, grow into something greater. And it could be connected to this, right? Again, this is about our creations and what we make to grow and giving birth to new things. The near future. Boom. I like when it gets straight to the point. Twin flame in a near future. So again, relationships that are born coming into, they start as something smaller, a foundation in true human decency and caring and friendship, and develop into twin flame. Masculine's higher self. Fun times. This is the choice to sit it out or dance. He's dancing. He's put the finger in the air. That's when the party is really getting started. Blocks of the union. Mature female. This can come across as 2 different things. A feminine can be the divine feminine, getting in her own way, and or it can be an actual mature woman, female, who is an obstacle. I've had sometimes the mother, for example, of the masculine's children, that can play. One's own mother, the divine feminine's mother, the masculine's mother. Sometimes these other people can get in our way. She can be some sort of authority in somebody's life that would form a block, a boss or something. And for some, we began with young male, it's the age difference. And that would go back to getting in your own way, right? It's the age difference that is causing some sort of issue, either directly for her or for the younger male or other people. Maybe that's why somebody's mother has an attitude, other people who have something to say about it. But one of the things that the Jupiter trines will do is move us this week in particular to, even more so than any other time, not giving a shit about what other people think or have to say. The universe pushing us in that area of breaking free of other, ideologies that really belong to others, but they've imposed upon us and we've grown up with maybe from the time we were children. Our parents introduced us to a particular religion or way of life, manner of eating or whatever it is, and breaking free from all of that this week. What further to that can the feminine do? See, young male, told you. For a lot, it has to do with this, the age differences between us. For some, it's actually your children. It's actually your children that, so it's the child's other parent or something who is causing a block. What can the masculine do this week? Ice King. So he can be diplomatic and fair and reasonable, but also like Mars, and take action and pursue his passions. And also like Scorpio, where Jupiter is retrograde, and, start over, allow things that should be dead, which is other people's, again, impositions upon you. Allow things that should be dead, any kind of restrictions, limitations, whatever, to die and to start anew. That's what this is for the masculine. And further advice from the universe for both. New love. What I just say, starting anew. Okay, we're even if it is with somebody with whom you were a reconciliation, it's still starting anew. We're not doing it that way anymore. Allowing that to die, and brand new love. Brand new love built on a true foundation this time. And the outcome. Boom. I could stop here, but I'm not going to. Since we've already seen twin flame and true love and new love. I'm going to go on though. Beginning with divine guidance this week, which this, first of all, it's infinite. We can always, call out, get on our knees, talk to ourselves, however you do it, ask for divine guidance. But the key is to actually surrender to it, to move into that feminine energy that we can all access, male, female, alike. It's not gender specific, it's not sexuality specific, none of that. Just as a being, we can all move into this feminine space and surrender to actually following the guidance, not just asking for it and then continuing on, as we normally would. Boom, opening to birth, new things, just like the children, new love, allowing things to die, starting over. Very reminiscent of resurrection season and the Pentecost, which the Pentecost is this week too. Actually, it was yesterday. The 20th was the official celebration of the Pentecost. What it is, for those who don't know, because I was raised with it, like a season, beginning with Easter and the resurrection. Right, 40 days after that, 40 days after that, right, we have Ascension Thursday, where Jesus, ascends, goes back to heaven. And then 10 days after that is the event of the Pentecost, where the Holy Spirit then descends upon the earth, and specifically to the disciples to, teach them what they're supposed to do. So it's the whole event from beginning to end, with Jesus dying and coming back to life and then ascending, is about death and rebirth. Opening to expectancy, which is about putting limitations on the universe and blocking our own blessings, getting in our own way, like potentially was happening with the other spread. We cannot, the universe does not need our help, in designing how things are supposed to go or when, right? The timing's not up to us. None of that is up to us. All we need to do is to willingly engage, to decide to dance, willingly engage in this thing called life. And, in as positive way with as positive an outlook as we're able to muster, and leave the rest to the universe. So this card guides us to drop our expectancies, because all they do is manifest as limitations that we're putting upon the universe, which manifest essentially as blocks in our own life, blocking our own blessings. Birth and golden memories, which guides us to drop the baggage. I often say, like a hot fucking rock. This is lava and everything. Also representative of fire signs. Leo, Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, which again is real busy this week, has 3 things going on, those 2 transits, and the fact that it is retrograde in Scorpio. This can also represent Scorpio, by the way, co-ruled by Mars, the red planet, with Aries, and is about the need to only take the positive with us and to drop like all the baggage, and that can even be emotional stuff that we're carrying. So you might say, like, you know, I moved on, but are you embittered? You know, did you take that with you? Did you take like the inability to forgive with you, resentment, regret, all that kind of stuff you have to allow to die too. Allow that to die, and then, you know, for those emotions to be reborn in a positive way. That's what transmutation is all about, right? Transmuting the negative energy into love. We're only to take the positive, and the life lessons that we learn, which ultimately are positive, even if we went through a struggle in order to learn them. In the end, the fact that we become enlightened and educated is positive. So we take all that stuff with us and leave the rest behind. Birth. Back to expectancy. Overall energy this week is healing sounds. And we may want to focus specifically on the sacral chakra when we are listening to these healing sounds, which can be any genre of music you're into. I like binaural tones for the purposes of doing this, but you know, you don't have to use binaural tones. You know, any genre of music that you're into, or some sort of guided meditation. My only thing is I recommend that people not listen to any kind of guided meditation if there's a possibility of them falling asleep, because if that's the case, then you don't know what somebody is speaking over your life. While you're awake, if you hear something from the narrator that you don't like, you can press stop, you know, or turn off whatever it is you're listening to. If you're asleep, these things can leak into the subconscious. So that's my only recommendation, but you know, people can do as they please and listen to whatever brings you to a place of center and peace. The divine feminine about herself, the masculine as it relates to the feminine. The spread is otherwise from the perspective of the masculine and his higher self. The masculine about himself and about the union as a whole. Overall, what the masculine would have the feminine to do toward the union. What he himself is willing to. What the universe would have the two to do, surrender, contribute, whatever it is, and the outcome. Feminine, divine guidance. So getting into this feminine energy that we should always employ and surrender. Letting go of restrictions. Letting go of things that hold us back. And the masculine about us this week, enchantment. So he too, taking advantage of this feminine energy, his masculine energy as well, taking advantage of this feminine energy though, allowing truly the energy of Venus and Mars to heal him throughout, head to toe, even though he's been through it, right? This being here, this woman here, she is battered, she's scarred, she's nude. Her head's tilted back. Her eyes are closed. She couldn't be more vulnerable right now. She couldn't be in a greater place of surrender than this. But she's still, after all she's been through, saying to the universe, do with me what you will. And what it is doing with her is healing her. The masculine, seeing us go through this and also willing to do this with us in mind, in our consideration, himself. Awesome. I like when they pick cards of similar color as well, or the same color schemes. We have the blue and red here. We have the blue and red here. We've got this green in the background and blue. We've got the green in the background and blue here. A little purple, you know. The only difference is this one also has yellow. The masculine about himself, another one of the same color scheme. Blessings. So being appreciative, recognizing his blessings, even the little things, counting them, giving thanks, being in that with that attitude of gratitude, not because that will continue to bring blessings. But knowing though, still that it does, that if I'm thankful for what I have and you know what's to come, I'm going to continue to receive. The union as a whole. Spiritual growth. One of the benefits of what is he receiving? This education. And us too. This education and lessons, and that leads to ascension. Also the transmutation leads to the spiritual growth, physiological rather, ascension. We move up to a higher frequency. Overall, balance. This too about healing. Also reminiscent for me of water and air signs. So Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. Also Venus entered Cancer this week, by the way, so that can affect some of us too. For the air, again, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, and very specifically communication and healing, specifically in the areas of the communication centers. Throat chakra, third eye chakra, crown chakra. He's got these little spheres, you know, like strategically placed over those areas. So that's what we want to work on when we're doing the healing. It sits here right above this healing, right above the need to surrender to the guidance, and about getting into balance. Also, this card for me bears the energy of temperance, which is also about healing and restoration, being made whole, equilibrium. And temperance in the tarot represents the sign of Sagittarius, fire sign Sagittarius. What would the masculine have the feminine to do this week toward the union? Boom, soulmate, soulmate, and more surrender. Surrendering to the fact that this union, we're going to go through this over and over again, a rebirth of it. She's born of this lotus flower to start anew and for that experience, that new love that we saw in the last spread. And that's what the masculine wants her to do this week. What is he himself willing to do? Work on the continued healing. It sits here under the spiritual growth. We have all these other cards that he's chosen, not only of this color, but of this scheme and theme, all meant for restoration and balance, so that it's preparing himself. It's readying himself for this relationship. And what would the universe have the two to do this week? Earth connection. So not just meditation, but if you can do so, you know, if you live in an area that's at all conducive to doing it outside, which hopefully by now most of us do, with the summer months, you know, having arrived, or the warmer weather, the summer weather having arrived finally, get outside and do it. So when you're doing that, the healing sounds, right, our overall energy. When I pick this up, I got to tell you what's behind it, but listening. Okay, listening and what's behind that, but message from afar. So, you know, to what are we listening, or why are we listening? Why are we doing this, these healing sounds? When you're listening, if you could be jogging, you could be sitting on a park bench, you could be having a picnic, you know. Meditation can come in many forms and be done in many ways. You don't have to be sitting somewhere Indian style or whatever. However you choose to do it, if you can at all do it outside to reconnect with Mother Nature, that too opens up the flow to abundance. Not a mistake that it's here crossing blessings. Outcome for the week. Letting go of our expectations and our plate that we placed upon the universe, ceasing to block our blessings. Again, not a mistake that it's crossing blessings. Awesome. Speaking of new love and new beginnings, with the Angel Tarot, I'm beginning with the Ace of Water. Falling in love with the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth, and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. Speaking of children, this can also have to do with, you know, a baby being born too as well. And opening to the Queen of Earth, who is thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach and deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. The Queen of Earth is a Taurus, perhaps, where Uranus is and will remain for the next 8 years, as of last week, where our new moon occurred this week, and we're still in that energy as well. And can also be a Virgo or a Capricorn. Again, Capricorn, where both Saturn, which rules it, and Scorpio, Pluto rather, which rules Scorpio, are retrograde. They're both retrograde in Capricorn. Queen of Earth, this can be an actual person who's impactful upon your life this week. It can be Venus herself. She is the Queen of Earth as the ruler of the sign of Taurus and the planet of abundance, love, money, abundance in general. Opening to the Magician, which represents the sign of Gemini for me. Also applicable to the other mutable signs, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. Gemini also ruled by Venus. You are ready. You have the resources or the ability to manifest them, and life is magical. The Magician about using our will and those positive thoughts and our surrender to the universe to bring about the things that we want to occur in our lives. Opening also to Strength, which represents the sign of Leo in the tarot. Great inner strength. Release harsh judgments. Instead, exercise some forgiveness and compassion. That's part of the healing. That's part of that letting go of the lava, the bags of lava. Strength. And the Eight of Water. Desire to move on. Put on your walking shoes. The search for something more meaningful. Also spiritual and emotional growth, which has been our overlying theme thus far. Spiritual and emotional growth. So on that note, I'll go ahead and cut. The Knight of Fire, who's passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless, and can be a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, even a Scorpio. Also could be here representing Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius, or even Mars, ruler of Scorpio and Aries. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. Overall energy is the Three of Air. How did we get to this place where we need all this healing and forgiveness and compassion? Well, some hurt that had occurred. I feel that I don't feel that this is hurt that's to occur this week. For the most part, I feel that it's past. Great inner strength. I don't know how I started to say that. I guess because I saw the great, and I'm thinking about the card I just read a second ago, the strength card. Great sadness. Geez. Take time to heal. There's a need to forgive yourself and others. Maybe that was a reminder, the angels reminding me that we have the great inner strength with which to deal with this pain and to move past it. Three of Earth, otherwise about loss, about pain, about hurt. Also as a 3, potentially having something to do with a party of 3 and maybe even a love triangle specifically. Masculine crowned by the Dreamer. A leap of faith. Follow your dreams. That leads to unexpected opportunities. The Dreamer, or the Fool in the traditional tarot, in this deck represents the signs of Gemini and Virgo for me, because it represents the planet Mercury, and which rules those two signs. It's all about not only a leap of faith, but like a brand new path. Like I said, we're not doing it the way we used to, even if we're a couple that's reconciled, that's getting back together, who's been in love before. This is new love still. We're not doing it that way anymore. A brand new path on which we never walked before. Surrounded, however, by fear and the feeling of being trapped, entrapment, an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, being afraid to take action. However, in his subconscious, this should propel him to take action, hopefully. The King of Fire is motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. The King of Fire is a Leo, Sagittarius, that Leo, that strength again. A Sagittarius, perhaps, ruled by Jupiter, which is giving us a boost and a push this week, 2 times over this week. Or an Aries ruled by Mars, the planet of action and aggression. We can get out of this energy of low self-confidence and, and fear. Also, this person cannot possibly be a Scorpio, also ruled by Mars, along with Aries. Crowning, life experience, or the Tower, which also tends to represent the sign of Scorpio for me. It could be about an actual building, a tower, a home, a structure, or any type of, like when the light bulb goes on, a revelation. It's something earth-shattering, though. It's something that's going to change your life, whether it's good or bad. Like, it starts as a neutral energy, the Tower, and, because it can go either way. It can be a positive tower. It can be a tower that, causes us some sort of difficulty. A significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change. It's time to spread your wings. I'm going to say that it's a good tower this week before I even turn these other cards over, but we shall all learn together in a moment. Well, boom. That was fast. The Wheel of Fortune in this deck is about positivity. It is not negative at all in this deck at all. A time of positive change. A situation suddenly moves forward and fortune is on your side. I think the wheel showed up here in the general reading as well, the same placement. And the wheel represents the planet Jupiter again, which does come through to save the day for us this week, twice over, to give us a boost that we need as like the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Fire. Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius, so that sign coming into play again, as well as the fixed signs, Scorpio, Aquarius. At the feminine subconscious, too much work, accept help from others. Life is out of balance, and that leads to stress-related health concerns. The Ten of Fire is that feeling of being like overburdened and, just done. We need somebody to take the load off. And we could physically need someone to take the load off. We could be becoming, ill from these feelings. Leads to high blood pressure, leads to weight gain, particularly in the stomach, which is problematic for light beings because, there's a belief that the soul is located in the solar plexus, so like under the stomach and the abdomen. And that's why, or from this part isn't necessarily part of the belief, but I would add to that's why the dark would pile on fat in this area in the stomach and make it the most difficult weight to lose. It comes from cortisol, from stress hormone, cortisol, and we get this stomach buildup. But it's like the dark doesn't want us in connection with our soul and to be able to receive accurate messages, from our soul, to get those gut feelings. They want us to be asleep. So it piles on weight there in the stomach area. This is in the feminine's mind, however, particularly in this placement. Okay. We need to open our eyes to what's in front of us, to the blessings that are coming. So similar to what the masculine promised to do in the last spread, count his blessings, recognize the small things, be thankful, walk around with the attitude of gratitude all the time. That's what we're going to need to do this week too. Crowning. It's the 4 of air. See, there's the natural progression. I told you I felt the 3 of air was from the past. This week is about moving beyond this. Okay, we've already progressed to the 4. Time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. This can have something to do with the feminine moving into a new home or entering a new relationship. That can be what the Tower is. Unexpectedly, this comes by. She has to make a decision. What am I going to do? Perhaps with the masculine, perhaps not. But, it's something that's going to affect her love life and affect her life in general in a huge way with this Tower being here. But, trusting that it's good, that you're not overburdened or you're not down and out, at least. And this too shall pass very soon, as a matter of fact. It's a 10. It's an energy that's about to dispense. At the root, awakening with Archangel Gabriel. Major Arcana card number 12, which is the Hangman in the traditional tarot. Represents the planet Neptune for me. And therefore the sign of Pisces, which it rules. It does because Pisces and Neptune is what that foggy energy is about. Also very dreamy, even in a positive sense. A lot of daydreams and fantasizing and thinking about options and choices and stuff with Pisces. Sometimes being very indecisive as a result. Look at things from a different perspective. Okay, you're at a temporary standstill so that you can do this. It's important to be yourself. That goes for you, masculine. So to not just look at, a situation in one like superficial way and become frightened about, whether or not you can tackle that, you're ready to tackle that or not, even though you are with this King of Fire energy. Look at it from other perspectives so you can get an understanding. Look at yourself from other perspectives and get an understanding of what you're capable, and not be afraid of this, like divine new opportunity for you in this, that you can, and not be afraid of taking a leap of faith and surrendering truly, as you promised to do this week, to the divine guidance and going for, what they've put in front of you and suggested that you do. Feminine, the same thing. If we got a decision to make in, this regard, we need to look at it from all angles and look at this from, other perspectives too, and realize again the blessings that are before us. Also, these two cards crossing very much representing Jupiter trine Neptune this week, which is again one of the boosts that we're getting from the universe. At the heart of the matter, the 5 of water. This is that energy of inappreciation, things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in a situation, and crying over spilled milk. So again, we got to look at this in a more positive way. We got to look at this in a more positive way. And even the tower, if we're afraid of it just because it's the tower, look at this in a more positive way too, and make sure that we're counting our blessings and being thankful for what we have and what, is coming. Further clarifying, I'm going to the Doreen Virtue Romance Angels, beginning with soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. And opening to finances and career. Financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. Soulmate. And healing family issues. Your love life benefits you forgive your parents, not just your parents. Any and everybody who's so impactful upon you that you can't move on with your life, or more specifically your love life, you have to rectify that. Whether that means to repair the relationship or to walk away. Again, put on the walking shoes and walk away. Opening to calling in your soulmate from soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. Soulmate. And deception. Someone's wearing a false self mask in this relationship. I think that would be both. With this 5 of water here at the heart of the matter, it's the lying to yourself about what good is in your life and what blessings you have received and what blessings are on their way to you. It's that. Soulmate. I'm going to cut on that note. And back to finances and career. Well, there's no pentacles on this table this week. The feminine does have the wheel, which is abundance in all forms. But there are no pentacles. So that can be why there's some fear, maybe specifically in the part of the masculine, why he has the 8 of air here and he's feeling trapped and stuck. He might say, because I'm broke. But don't do that. That would be this. That would be not counting your blessings and being thankful for what you do have and what's to come. And that would also be speaking negativity over your own life. And so in that sense, this is self-imposed block and self-imposed limitation. Because if you change your mindset, then you can come into the abundance, financial, as well as material and love. And after a ton of shuffling, the overall energy is still finances and career. Atop the dreamer, getting to know each other as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. And again, that makes sense. Air signs, and Virgo included in this, although not an air sign, as a sign that is ruled by Mercury, the communication planet, perfect to be instrumental in getting to know each other. So a fresh new start and letting go of the fear of, that new. We're afraid of change a lot of time and afraid of new, because we haven't experienced it before. Letting go of that and going ahead and putting some energy into getting to know each other. Atop the 8 of air, separation, time apart from your partner is on the horizon. This not only literal, but separate or applying to a person, but separation from that which limits you. That's what this week in large part is about. Leaving alone what's not meant for you in your soul, in your heart, what's not meant for you, letting it go. Even if it's been with you your whole life. Again, you were raised with it, a particular ideology, a religion, whatever it is. Letting it go, belief system. And then for others, this is separation from those people, not necessarily a partner or the divine partner. I don't feel it's the divine partner at all. But the walking away, again, the walking shoes. You're meant to buy shoes to walk away from any people, places, or things that are holding you back, that don't resonate with your soul and your heart. And that's going to take balls. That's going to take, you have to pull away. And is very likely connected for some of you all as another meaning to this 3 of air, because even when we leave something that we know we need to leave and that we desire to leave, there can be, mixed feelings, joy and sadness. We still have the right to mourn relationships that we have to let go of, or experiences and situations, circumstances of which we have to let go. If you're leaving a job or something, to connect it back to finances and career, for example, maybe you've been there a certain amount of time, you have relationships there, your friendship there, you're used to it, rather than the new job you're about to, go to, the new path, you don't know anything about those people or that place. It can be scary, so there's mixed feelings, but follow what is in your heart and soul this week. Well, always, but this week we're pushed to do that. Atop the King of Fire, this could be the one you've already met, the romantic partner you seek. So if there's fear of that, of moving on to a new person, trust that the guidance you've been given is that that's what you're meant to do. That's where you belong. Atop life experience, free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. So this could be the feminine leaving a home, maybe leaving a relationship, leaving a job herself, a situation in order to propel herself forward, leaving whatever's holding her back, person, place, or thing, similar to what I just told the masculine, alone, and moving forward on the new path. Atop the wheel and the positive push forward, suddenly things move forward and fortune is on your side, is romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. So you're meant to go on to pursue your new passions and to leave the old ones alone, leave them to die and be reborn with the new energy. Atop the 10 of fire, for a lot of feminine, this is leaving somebody alone, or again, leaving some situation alone. Release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. You don't even feel good doing this anymore. It's like literally making you sick, whatever it is. So it's time to get away from that. And again, to free yourself and pursue these passions, because they're real feelings and real desires that will be really beneficial to you. Like you hit the jackpot. Atop the 4 of air, deception. Someone's wearing a false self mask in this relationship. And again, if it's connected to the need to make a decision, it's about us, being careful not to lie to ourselves. The hangman sits here at the root, right underneath this, that says it's important to be yourself while you're reviewing these options. Because if you lie to yourself, you're going to pick the wrong thing. So it's very important. Atop that hangman, Passion. Pursue the passions. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Not a mistake that it's here crossing the separation for the masculine. You got to get away from this thing that's not your passion so that you can pursue your passions. And not a mistake that it's crossing romantic feelings for the feminine. Get away from this thing that's holding you back and pursue your passions. At the heart of the matter, atop the 5 of Cups, heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. And this crossing the communication for the masculine too, with Mercury there, and the getting to know each other. And it's part of exploring the feelings, and it's part of, you know, leaving old things behind to start anew as well. And that's why in that first spread, we're represented by the 3 kids, a party of 3, you know, the situation. And, you know, what's to come later is the twin flame. Because we've got, just like how when I was shuffling, that was apparent before I even laid any cards when I was shuffling, that we're going to have to deal with some sort of party of 3 or potential love triangle or something, and, you know, decide this week what it was ultimately, or what it is ultimately that we want. And hopefully that decision will be to get up and dance and move on toward, you know, quote unquote, twin flame or your divine situation, as opposed to remaining stuck in what doesn't move your soul and bring you joy. Further to that, soulmate again for the masculine, you know, this time from another deck. So we've seen soulmate 3 times. In the spread from the masculine's perspective, where he was asking that the feminine be in this energy, now here for himself. And also when I started this spread. Feminine, triangle, get rid of the 3rd energy, the 3rd thing that's blocking you, whether it's an actual person or, you know, again, a circumstance, a situation, let go of it. Allow it to die. Masculine, creativity, coming up with ways to that you can pursue your passions and bring about abundance in your own life by doing so, by doing what you love or who you love as a possibility. It's very like 3 of Wands, and that 3s are about creativity anyway. But with this fire, right? This angel has got these fiery red wings. She's also got a star on her forehead. The star is representative in the tarot of the sign of Aquarius, ruled by Uranus. Both Uranus and Aquarius, which it rules, all about freedom and breaking away from, you know, the norm and, you know, just nonconformity and, you know, doing your own thing. What drives you, what your passions are. And that's what this week is about, again, in large part because of Jupiter. Also coming through, aside from Aquarius and fire signs, Pisces, water signs too, but specifically Pisces with these fish jumping out of the water. Creatively, go after what you love, what makes you feel good, makes you emotionally happy, brings you emotional joy, about what you are passionate. Instrumental in bringing about your own abundance. Feminine, for us, reflection. We're going to have to look at, again, connecting this also to the Golden Memories card, look at our past, look at our present, look at our future, you know, and what do we want to take with us and what do we want to leave behind? And what should we have left behind a long time ago that it's not too late to get rid of? Drop it. That's what the reflection is going to be. And very likely connected to this triangle and this 3rd energy that is here, very present, the need to release your ex, whatever that means in your life, however that applies, so that you are free to move forward. From the Angel Tarot to the masculine, the strength, another reminder of this strength, great inner strength, release harsh judgments, instead exercise some forgiveness and compassion. Strength represents the sign of Leo, right? The King of Wands that's here. You have that energy. To lead, take your own life by the reins and do what makes you feel good. Feminine, the Page of Air, logical, honest, impulsive, and curious is the Page of Air. Challenging information or delays and changes to plans, and truth delivered without tact. I think this is about you, again, stepping into your truth and dismissing what no longer resonates in your life. And lastly, from the romance angels for the masculine, healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. And this may be somebody familial, right? As in maybe a spouse or your child's other parents, like we saw in the first spread. Unfortunately, sometimes our own parents. There are people that we have to heal relationships, if that's a possibility with, or walk away from and love them from afar. And lastly, boom, soulmate. What a note to end on. Feminine, your feelings are real. Again, right? Your feelings are real and worth exploring. Yes, this is your soulmate. So leave, cut the zero and get with the hero. Leave the other thing behind, whatever it is. I hope that you guys enjoy this reading and find it helpful. Namaste, angels.